Good morning. Back in the workshop to start getting some of this stuff cut out, and look at the state of this. Normally I'll run this vacuum while I'm cutting stuff, but I really wanted to watch it happen yesterday, so I've got to tidy up afterwards. So let's get to it. Right, today, obviously what we're going to be doing is cutting our rosewood and our flame maple fillers, as well as drinking tea. Okay, what I found is I've got this jig that I use for cutting out flat pieces, plastic like is on there now, and it's just held down by these little clamps here. So what I'm hoping to do is make some sort of adjustment, because there is no way I'm holding this down with vacuum. So if I can find some way to clamp it here with these toggles and take the shapes out that I need, I can then sand them flat one edge, ready for inlay. So let's make some adjustments to these bad boys and move these over a little bit. What size we reckon that is? 7? Could be. Seven it is, okay. First I've got to fire up this antique. This really is an antique. I've got such an old CNC machine. It runs on Windows XP and via a parallel port. Windows XP. Right, so I've done my drawing. I've posted it. So now I'm going to load it. And that's the one I want. Cutouts. Load the G code. Kind of see here in this top right corner what it's going to look like. It's just simply going to cut out that shape, and time to fire up the CNC machine. I don't want to get anything wrong on this piece of wood, because it's simply too expensive to waste. So let's put this horrible lump of plywood on it, secure it down, and I'll cut the test piece out of there and see how it looks. Okay, I got this stuff years ago. I think it's called the Ultimate Abrasive, made by Hermes, but it isn't the Ultimate Abrasive, I can tell you now. That Merker stuff they make is way better. So let's just get the edge off this. Okay, so I've got to be careful, because as I press this in here, there's going to be glue inside. Not much, but there's going to be glue, and the air has to come out. Otherwise it won't seep all the way down to the bottom, and I want it to do that, obviously. So now that fitting in there nice and snug, I'm free to cut out the rest of the pieces. Okay, let's do it. Let's make some. Right, as you can see I've cut a few out here. I just want to take them over to the board and see how they look. Oh, let's not forget the tea. Okay, so I've got 4 of these bits cut out now, and I just want to see how they look in the board, grain direction and all of that other stuff. Okay, so here the flame grain is going to go across the board, and the rosewood grain is going to go with the board as you're looking down it as a player. And I'm hoping that as well as the dark and light, this will add a little more contrast to the finished chessboard itself. But these fit really nicely, and I think I can go ahead and cut the rest of those now. I got to the point where I've cut all these out, so I've got one piece for every square, or every other square obviously, but some of the pieces have kind of got this lines running through them, or they're not quite as nice looking as I'd like them to be, so I'm just going to cut a few more and give me some to be able to pick the best. Okay, there we go. I cut a load of spares, so I was able to get rid of these streaky ones and replace all with nice clean white flamed pieces. Now it's time to cut the rosewood. Let's get on with it. Okay, so I got my first piece cut out of the rosewood. It looks okay, and so I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it here, but the flame on this goes horizontal to the board, and this rosewood grain, if I can get it in, should go with the board. Got all the pieces for everything cut off. Some have got a bit of tabs on, but that's okay because I can push them in here. They won't go as deep as the tabs, and then sand everything off flush at the top. So I have at least one piece for every square, which means I can pick and choose as I like, whichever is the best looking pieces. But there we are. So what did I get? Three rosewood spares, and it's not really a spare, is it? It's pretty nasty. So 3 of each spare. I'll be able to distribute them as I like across this until it looks exactly how I want it. Next up, I've got this lump of flame maple here. I'm going to cut all of these slots out of, so I'll just run off some thin slips on the bandsaw and then probably drum sander them to thickness. I've just cut my piece of flame maple and run it through the drum sander, and it's come out about 1.5 mil. Well, it's not, it's exactly 1.5 mil. And my gap is 1.6, so this should fit in here really nicely. No gaps, no rocking, but without having to hammer it in. And blow this slot out first, and oh yeah. So that is absolutely perfect. We're going to have a beautiful edge in the light here where you'll be able to see the flame. So I've got to make how many more? Yeah, lots. Right, I'm going to get on with that then. Righto, as we know, this is covered in like the routing fur, so it's time to get rid of that. Give it some with a Festool, so 120 I think. Cutting these smaller parts with the chisel was working, but it is a pain. It's not a very nice way to do it, and it leaves this angle on one end. So I'll try and set this up with a clamp and a piece of wood here, like you would a miter saw, you know, on a bench. So I cut these the same length every time. And there we go, perfect. Right, so I'll be able to cut the rest of these exactly the right size. I wish my table would stop wobbling, that really is annoying. Well, here we go. I've managed to inlay all of the flame maple square separators. Obviously they're way higher than they need to be right now. That'll all be sanded back. And next step is gluing these pieces, of course, before getting around to cutting this stuff, which I've got to find. I've got to dig something out from somewhere, so I'm going to get on with those two bits and bobs probably tomorrow.